Welcome to another episode of Icon Presents. Joining me from Oceanside, California, performing for us a single from his newest album, Topeka Clementine 2. Ladies and gentlemen, Icon Presents Topeka Clementine.
You stole the show. You still haunt my dreams. And there you are, standing in line while I'm checking IDs. And how could I know? 'Cause it's Halloween. And you're all dressed up as someone I thought I'd never need. You know that I'd give you everything. Now I'm just stuck making breakfast for one. Coffee don't taste the same. Miss how you say my name. Guess I just wasn't the one. Thought you moved to New York. I guess you're still in LA. And I'm staring back into those brown eyes I knew in 8th grade. Did you come alone? Well, I'm here with a friend. But later when everything slows down, we could play pretend. 'Cause you know that I'd give you everything. Now I'm just stuck making breakfast for one. Coffee don't taste the same. Miss how you say my name. Guess I just wasn't the one. And we'd make this work in some other life. I'd come over for dinner, I'd prep and I'd get a nice wine. We'd put on old films and turn out the light. It only took 17 hours to get it all wrong. Damn, this drive home is gonna be long. 'Cause you know that I'd give you everything. Now I'm just stuck making breakfast for one. I check up on you once in every blue moon. See you posting what he made for brunch. Well, you stole the show. You still haunt my dreams. And I should let go. But you're all I need.
Alrighty, welcome Topeka Clementine. How you doing today?
Doing pretty well. How about you?
I'm doing pretty good. It's a pleasure having you in the building today. I absolutely love it. I absolutely loved your performance, man. So tell me a little bit about that song, Breakfast for One?
Mm-hmm. Breakfast for One, yeah.
Yeah, man. Tell me about that story. What that song, what inspired that?
Oh, that's funny. So it was about a year from the date of the release. Actually, maybe a little longer. But so that's like I would say the big single off of the album.
Okay.
That the most recent album.
Gotcha.
And it was the first song of the run of songs that I put out before releasing the album, and it just like really took off, mostly because there's like a piano part that I didn't play. I just played it on guitar. But,
Gotcha. The keyboard that you told me that was gonna be.
that I thought was. Well, did you really want me to Hollow Roads in here? Like,
dude, if you saw the band that did you really? That's what you're gonna get? Okay, alrighty.
I figured you'd be happy with that.
I was expecting a keyboard, maybe a little Roland or something like that. It's like, nah, I'm going all the way in. Okay, gotcha.
I'm trying to send some chiropractor's kid to college with all my medical bills.
Alrighty, so what is it? Breakfast for One. Let's go into that. Yeah.
So that song is funny. It's actually not a touchy topic, but it was pretty much I got ghosted by this person that I had a crush on since like middle school. I thought it's like the lyrics are in the song if you kind of follow the plot. But this person, I saw them after maybe 7 years at a Halloween party.
Okay.
I thought they had moved to New York. And we lost contact. I thought I was never going to see them again.
Gotcha.
But I was like checking IDs. I was like working the door at this party. And all of a sudden I'm like looking at this ID of this person and like everyone's in costume too.
Yeah,
it's Halloween. So like, I didn't even realize until I'm literally holding this person's ID that
okay.
This is this person I thought I lost contact with.
Gotcha.
Every bit of 4 or 5, 6 years ago.
Gotcha.
And yeah, just realized that a lot of the same like little bubbly preteen crush feelings like had never really gone away. And it was just exciting getting the opportunity to explore that. And like I set everything up so good. Like we had a little date set up. I like prepped food. I used to be a chef for like 5 years too. So like I went all out.
I gotcha.
And got like a nice wine. Found a bottle of wine from the oldest vine of Senso grapes in France that like still exists.
Oh dang.
And it wasn't even that expensive, which was the crazy thing. But it was just like it felt really special. But yeah, I just built it all up in my head.
Yeah.
I built it like so high up in my head, and I just crumbled under the pressure. It was just like the biggest bag fumble I've had to date, I feel like. Yeah. So like I was just like a nervous wreck through the whole thing.
Yeah.
Overcooked the steak a little bit and like just was fumbling over my words the whole time. Got ghosted shortly after. And, life goes on, but I got a fucking amazing song out of it. I'm very proud of how this song came out.
It sounded great.
So,
it sounded great. Unfortunately, yes, you had to go through that situation for that even to happen. But hey, we got a good song out of it. So I'll deal with a little bit of your trauma to get some good music.
I mean, ultimately I realized I wouldn't trade the feeling for the song.
Yeah, I get you. That's life experiences. It's like art and everything is bred from that. And that's where if you're writing a song about how you truly feel and what's real to you, that's going to resonate with your audience so much more. And it's like, as it goes, it says, like, what reaches the heart or what leaves the heart is what's going to reach the heart, right? It's like, you can always tell when people are being fake. When you listen to a rapper, a singer, anything like that, and they're talking about a life that they haven't lived and all that, then it's not going to resonate with anybody. It doesn't register those same feelings. So it's good to know that you're writing music that's true to you.
Yeah, I really shot myself in the foot with this one. I like really just put it all. I just put it all on the track.
I mean, we've all been there. And that's the thing. There's so many experiences that not only just you have gone through. It's when you're writing a song about how you personally feel. I could tell you stories of me being ghosted. I can also tell you stories of me ghosting as well, because there's two sides to every story. And really, there's neither of the people really in that situation are going to feel very positive about that scenario. At least if you're not a narcissistic psychopath, you typically wouldn't, but maybe somebody does. Maybe it's like, haha, I ghosted you. You're a horrible person if you did that. That's just me. That's just what I'm saying. That's the way I feel about it. But no, that's great, man. So tell me about this album. You put out Topeka Clementine 1, and then this is not Topeka Clementine 2 as in the number 2, but it's TOO. Okay, give me a little bit more detail into your creative process with this album.
So this album definitely was a departure from the first ethos of the first Topeka Clementine album.
Okay.
I think I was definitely like in more of like a bedroom pop, like indie pop kind of lane.
Okay.
For the first
bedroom pop. I've never heard that before.
Yeah, like I don't know, Steve Lacy, like not as good. I think, but he kind of, I would say he sort of pioneered the genre.
I got you.
You know, just pretty much making it all yourself, but like definitely pop. You're a little more upbeat, like break beats, grooves, kind of thing, like that. Yeah, but this one I leaned heavier into, I guess, harmonic complexity that I had always craved. And I craved this complexity to help describe some of these emotions that I've been feeling. Okay. But I just didn't know, I just wasn't good enough at music, at piano, at my instrument to get to that depth. Gotcha. And so before, I think I just picked a bunch of really complicated sounds and like threaded together like really intricate melodies with like wonky sounds and like got out there in that way. Gotcha. To try to capture some of the depth I was really craving to deliver. But this was me like just, okay, I'm going to sit down. I'm going to listen to some of the greats, you know, I'm going to go through like Cab Calloway, Ella Fitzgerald, Nat King Cole. Yeah. Just peeling open some of these like golden age, mid-century pop artists that I really admire. And I really just respect their artistry, even though they're like singing standards that have been around maybe even decades prior to them. Like they find a way to breathe a whole new life and tell their own story through the structure of what's already there. Right. And so, yeah, this is in a way my homage to that. And like, you know, there's current artists like Leve and Samara Joy, Liana Flores that rely on that kind of harmonic vocabulary, like old jazz standards.
Would you say are there any artists out now that are inspiring your current like creation?
Yeah, I mean, Leve was definitely up there. Liana Flores, like I said, Noah Flourish was like a very big inspiration. Who else? Like Wasia Project. I'm a really big fan of them. They have like a sort of classical, sort of mid-century pop leaning affectation. Gotcha.
Any collaborations that you like? Anybody that you would like? Oh man, I wish I could collaborate with this person.
Right now, man, I would love a Liana Flores collaboration. Okay, that'd be amazing. Gotcha. I don't think it's happening anytime soon. Nah. Speaking of Ghosted, she like hit me up because of Breakfast for One. I was like, she's like, hey, I like that song, and I was like, oh, thanks. And then she's coming to LA, and I was like, hey, could I open for you in LA? Like, seen no response. And I was like, I just really shat the bed on that one. I could have like just been friendly for a little bit and like had more time to develop like an actual.
Oh, you went right into.
Not like right in. Like we had talked a little bit, and then I got ahead of myself because I wanted tickets to go, and I missed out on the pre-sale, and I was like, this is my last ditch effort to even see this show live. Oh dang! So. Dang. Yeah, but
that'd be crazy if you got to do that. Though.
Yeah, I know.
Amazing.
It doesn't hurt to ask, I guess.
Yeah, it doesn't. But. Hey, I saw T-Pain's coming to San Diego.
Oh yeah, is La Russell opening for him on that part of the tour? Who's La Russell?
You know what? I'm not exactly sure. I wouldn't be surprised. But La Russell he rubs me the wrong way.
But does he really?
Yeah, like I like some of his stuff, but I also don't like a lot of his stuff. And I think I like a lot of the vibes and all that kind of stuff. Is messaging, but I think what it is I think it has to do with belief systems. And so he has a tendency to go out and make these like grandstand statements and stuff like that about things. And I'm like, you're not educated enough on this particular thing to really talk about it. When he says things that are blatantly untrue. And I'm like, gosh. But people take him very seriously about certain things. And I'm like, man, not about that. But no, in regards to kind of just shooting your shot, like you never know what happens. Like T-Pain he posted he had made a post and it was some promotion for his thing. And I 100% don't think it was actually T-Pain doing it. But I was like, he did it and I saw it within 4 seconds of him doing it. Yeah. And so then I was like the first person to comment on it. And so then I was like, I'm gonna just put this out here. I got a podcast. I would love to have you on the podcast. Yeah. Nothing at all. I was like, That's a long shot, but it's more so. I wasn't really looking for that opportunity. I look at things and I'm like, cool. Let me just give it a shot.
Yeah, the cold email is a lost art. I feel like
Exactly.
you need to just shoot a couple of those every once in a while.
Even when I had even with this podcast, man, I got a guest on the coming on this show, Danielle, and she is an amazing, talented artist, and I posted I was just sharing some posts from the show and everything like that, just putting it on social media. That's why social media is so important. And she just she liked it, and then I was like, oh dang, and then she followed it. Followed the podcast, and one day I was like, "Our following's huge," and so I just hit her up one day, and I was like, "Hey, you want to be on the show?" She was like, "I would love to," and I'm like, "Let's go." Awesome. Like, hey, you win some, you lose some. It is what it is, but it's gonna be a great time either way it goes.
When you do get the yes though.
100%. But it takes something to put yourself out there. Just to go out and reach out to people and say, "Hey, you want to be on the show?" Or, "Hey, can I have this opportunity?" I've had people reach out to me, and I'm like, and I respect that effort, that energy. Is like, it didn't matter. For me, it's because when you're coming from a creative standpoint, that fear of being judged or rejected is always what's going to limit you. And it's like, once you get past that, you're invincible, man. Yeah. You can do anything.
What's something you've done to help get over that, you think?
Well, I would say kind of getting over myself is kind of one of those things. So and what I mean by that is kind of I realized that it's just me. I'm just Antoine. I'm just you go stand out. You live in Oceanside, right? Go stand out on the pier and realize how small your life is, right?
Well, right now, did you hear about it? It's burning, or yeah. I mean, I think they put it out.
I saw that. I saw an article about that the other day. That's crazy. Yeah. That's crazy. So don't go out there right now.
Not right now.
Not right now. But it's one of those things where it's you realize how you miss, you miss 100% of the shots you don't take. I've worked in sales, so that really did help a lot. And because you get used to rejection. Rejection is people keep saying, hey, do you want to do this? When I graduated high school, I was working for a subcontracting company called RSW. And we did a bunch of, we did in-home, consultations for dual pane windows, attic installation, all that kind of stuff. I was 18 years old, and I look young now, but I looked even younger then. When you look at a picture from me from my high school graduation, it looks like I should have been graduating middle school. And so imagine me walking up to people and saying, hey, would you like to sign up for a free in-home consultation on dual pane windows, attic installation, and all that kind of stuff, and trying to work on this pitch? And people literally look in my eyes like, oh my gosh, you're so cute. Keep doing what you're doing. It's like, yo, this is not what I'm trying to do. I'm a grown man with bills to pay. Now, because my parents ain't the type to kind of just be like, oh, nah, you can take care of everything. Nah, I want a new phone. I got to work and make that money myself. So it kind of put me in that kind of mindset. But when I say get over myself, I mean, it's once you realize, first, I got to get over myself and get over who these people are. Same thing when it comes to dating. It's we're afraid to I don't want to go talk to this girl or whatever like that. It's because you're fear of rejection. The worst thing she could say is no. Yeah, some of these girls get heartless and they say, nah, get your, they say everything else is yo, forget all of that. If a girl responds like that, be glad that she said no, because that's not the type of person you want to be with typically anyway. The ones that are going to insult you for that type of thing. So it's kind of just that mentality kind of help. Do you deal with, or do you find yourself in situations where as you're going on this journey as a creator and as a musical talent, where you're trying to get people to kind of give you a shot?
Yeah, I feel like I grapple with self-worth a lot. Today, especially, actually, I feel like I've built, prior to this, in my previous career, I built so much self-worth off of what I could do with my hands, things I could physically make. And so much of music is so ephemeral.
I got you.
I don't have physical products.
Yeah,
of the things I've made to show as this is a manifestation of the energy and hard work I put in. Like,
Yeah.
it kind of just exists, sort of.
Yeah, exactly. It's like you create this and it just goes out there, and then you're hoping for people's reception into it.
Yeah.
And if and if people don't respond to it instantaneously, you can sometimes start to feel like maybe it's a reflection of you.
Yeah, exactly.
But sometimes it's just a matter of time, and it's like taking that time to keep going.
And it's opportunities like this to be able to connect with people, just even one-on-one, like, or a wider audience, like, to be like, this is what I am. Like, here's like a pretty relatable story. And if you want help processing that on your own time, like, here it is. Like, I like to think my songs are like a way of going, I'm not going to be here with you all the time, but here's a piece of me for when times get rough and you can hold on to this.
Gotcha.
And then maybe this will help.
Yes, this is how you've chosen to leave an impression on the world. It's like, hey, I'm not going to be here forever. This is me. Cool. Maybe generations down the line or whatever like that, somebody's going through a hard time in life, or maybe, I don't know, is all your songs about going through a hard time, or do you have any positive songs out there?
I have positive songs. I wouldn't really even say the songs that I have that are negative necessarily, but I like to tell stories.
Okay.
And I think it's on the listener of the story just as much as the teller to glean some kind of moral from the story.
I got you.
I think all we have as human beings are stories.
Yeah.
That's where we get our moral center.
I mean, that's the best way to tell stories anyway. I mean, to kind of communicate ideas is through storytelling.
Yeah.
It's like, that's how history is passed down and all that kind of stuff. It's funny that you mentioned that. I was having a conversation with a legendary comic book artist, Gabe El-Taib. He's an amazing colorist and all of that. He kind of left DC and Marvel off of some kind of moral belief differences on a lot of things, which I respect that. But we were having a conversation and he was talking about how important storytelling for him, what that got him through sometimes in life. Like when he looks back and when he was sitting there with two high six-figure contracts from DC and Marvel, basically like, yo, what am I gonna do? Like, I don't like the way this is going. I've been compromising my principles for this time, and I'm not comfortable with this. Now I'm at an opportunity where I have to make a choice. Do I sit there and do that? And the story, or what came to his mind, was from Indiana Jones.
Oh, interesting.
And it was like the actions taken in that story in like were what kind of helped him in his current situation, which was absolutely surprising. And so it's like it's crazy to think how arts and storytelling and songwriting and all of that kind of stuff, when it's transferred over, it's like, yeah, you're enjoying this for right now. But when you're down and when life gets rough for you and you watch a movie or you see a show and that resonates with you and you remember how you felt. And then this is like, when you don't see an out, like, this is what the power of music and everything like that. So using your platform to tell the stories of your life so that maybe it resonates with other people, it's a commendable thing. It's a great thing to do.
Thank you.
No problem.
And I feel like some of the stories I tell aren't even necessarily of my life. Like, there's a song on the album called The Ballad of One-Eyed Mike. And it's about this houseless man I met who, he's like, I think 60, but he moved out from Mississippi when he was like a young kid and out to South Central Los Angeles. And just, he really like laid his whole life story out to me, like one day while I was there doing outreach with Humanity Showers. And he touched me in like a really meaningful, like he told the story like a storyteller, you know? He embodied all the different characters, and he told me about getting shot in the face with a shotgun, and that's why he's got one eye, and like all the reconstructive things he had to do. His time in the hospital, and meeting the guy who did that to him like much later in life. Just all these things that like really just like I swear for the month after he told me that story, I was telling that story to like as many people as I could. I don't necessarily feel like it's mine to tell in its totality. And, you know, I put a wider breadth of things and experiences in that song, but it's an homage to him and just, this is a person who existed and he's important. I got you. Know? And like, he deserves to be memorialized in some way, not as a perfect person maybe, but like he he existed and he mattered.
Gotcha.
You know?
Yeah. That's awesome. So take me through your production process. So you play guitar, obviously. You play piano. You play anything else?
Yeah. So except for a couple acoustic guitar bits and some electric guitar licks, I produce everything on the album.
Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Is that true? That's true.
Okay, gotcha. What are you recording into?
I got it's like a MacBook Air.
Okay.
Some Logic.
Got you. So you're doing this all yourself?
Yeah.
Got you. You're going into Logic. Got you. You're doing the entire production and everything like that, and then putting this out. That's awesome. That's awesome. Where'd you learn how to do that?
I just taught myself all that stuff. Yeah. I mean, luckily, I'm leaning on a classical piano training. I played from 5 to 15.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now the production skills of actually doing that.
YouTube University.
Yeah, let's go.
Just a lot of trial and error. I mean, I put out like 3 mixtapes on GarageBand.
Okay.
Or like using GarageBand first, as Topeka Clementine. That was like mid to late 2023.
Okay.
2022.
Alrighty.
Yeah, that was mid to late 2022, and I did GarageBand, and then I just sort of like did a kind of sketchy copy paste download thing off my friend's computer for Logic.
Oh, okay.
I'm like too proud to pay $200. I was like, I would use GarageBand until I died if I could just do it for free. But it was just like the bigger brother of GarageBand.
Yeah,
so
100%.
It was pretty intuitive to get into. Like, I think the only difference for me personally, because I don't really get into the nitty gritty, is like the hotkeys make my workflow a little quicker. I can like fade in and out things a little quicker and like group and like organize folders a little bit better, which is nice because when I'm like bouncing stems for other people. But yeah, like those Logic, I just sort of press a button. Oh, what does that do? You know? I find new things every day. I'll be like trying to type something in and I didn't like hit it in, and I'll type a bunch of buttons and like a bunch of like windows will pop up. I'm like, okay, let me like reverse engineer all the buttons I just pressed on accident. And then I was like, oh, I just learned like a couple new hotkeys. And
hey, that's great.
I just go like
I started off on Logic. That was my, so when I was first getting into production, I started Logic and then transferred over to transfer schools. And so then they were using Pro Tools there.
Okay.
And then graduated. I became proficient in Pro Tools and everything like that. And I thought I was good.
Did you take the course where they make you do all like the?
Yeah, man. I'm Pro Tools level 2 or 3, second to the top level certified.
Okay. At least brown belt in Pro Tools.
Right, exactly, basically. And that was some years ago. Doesn't matter at all. I came to Icon Industries and guess what? Not a lick of Pro Tools around here.
Oh yeah, what do you use?
Ableton.
Really?
So Steve, so Steven, shout out Steven. Chief nerd Steven is very big on having control.
Okay.
And the thing about Pro Tools first off, I don't like subscription models. So they lost me once they started doing subscriptions. I was already looking for an out at that point. Because I'm just not about that.
You can't do the one time.
Hate that. You can do that, but you kind of lose certain things.
Oh, like the updates
and that. So it's like, you don't get the perpetual license if you do it that way. You got to pay like, it's like $600 and you don't get the updates. And then it's like Ableton, you could pay like less and you get updates with it and all that stuff. And I was like, I like this a lot more. Yeah. And then it's like, okay, cool. And then instead of using Final Cut or Premiere, we use DaVinci Resolve for our video editing. Yeah. It is like DaVinci gives you a lot for free. And then we have the paid models here, obviously. But that's what like all the cameras and all the production and all that kind of stuff is all Blackmagic, which is hilarious because when I tell people, we run our entire studio off of Blackmagic, they're like, what? What did you just say? I'm like, no, it's not that type of Blackmagic. But it's one of those. But the whole reason why I bring that up is because as you've kind of had to adapt to certain things, you went from being a chef and now you're in this different side of creativity, this different field. But it's like figuring things out, kind of mixing and all that kind of stuff. It's like, as a chef, you have a end product that you can look at and see and say, here, this is what my energy, this is what I made and all that kind of stuff.
And get instant gratification from like a source of authority about the supposed quality of your output.
Exactly. And so you get that. and it's translates across. It's like music is so subjective. So it's like, I didn't like it. Oh, I liked it. It's like with other arts too. It's like you do a painting or you do a book or whatever like that. You're going to have people say, I didn't like it. Oh, I liked it. Or whatever like that. How do you deal with the criticism that you get off of your music now?
I really try to remind myself you can't account for taste.
I got you.
And it's funny too, because within this world of subjectivity, people are so comfortable going like, "Oh, this is ass." Like, so objectively.
Oh yeah, 100%.
As if like their taste is the taste. You know. And I've been trying to move my language around it more now. Where like, if something isn't to my taste, I'll just say that's not to my taste. Yeah. No shade to anybody who enjoys this. Like, and if this brings value to your life, like, who am I to tell you no? Like,
it's not me. Yeah, hey, that might be you, and that's what you respect it.
Yeah,
like, hey, you do you. That's what you're into. Go for it. I see that with creators these days, especially as the independent market kind of grows and things get more and more decentralized, right? So you have even like, I'm a nerd, so I like comic books and all of that kind of stuff. I'm watching a comic book creator, and a lot of times some people's arguments as to whether or not they like things, a lot of times has nothing to do with the art itself. It has to do with you as a person, and then their feelings about you and like maybe your past or your standing, right? So I saw this in real time. It was nuts. So there's creator. I give him a lot of praise sometimes. His name is Eric July. He's a comic book creator, and but now he has he used to be a YouTuber and all that kind of stuff. He still does it.
That name sounds really
but he has a company called the Rippaverse, and it's a comic book company. And he was one of those guys that was complaining about comic books and all that kind of stuff, the way things were going, and kind of his stories kind of just falling down. And he took offense to it because it was such a big part of his childhood and everything like that that he had. So he was like, man, instead of complaining about it, maybe I'll try something else myself. So he released his first book, and it was decent. I will not sit here in front like it was the greatest thing. I knew that it lacked in certain areas, but I also understood it was his very first project. Yeah. And overall, the idea and the concepts that he was presenting were very interesting to me, and I was enjoying it. And I watched people, because he made a ton of money his first book. A lot of times creators, they make a couple $1,000s or whatever like that. And then some of the big time ones do like 100,000 or whatever like that. This guy on his first campaign, he took $200,000 of his own money to get this whole thing started. He made $3.7 million on his first book in a matter of about 2.5 months or so. Right? And so many people were upset. They were like, why in the world or whatever like that? Keep in mind, he's been a YouTuber for like 16 years, has a 500,000 subscribers on YouTube. It makes sense. He's put in the work. He's put in the time. You only have to take a fraction of his audience to buy his project, and everything was good. But when he made so much money, he was so successful. People who would say, that who were first watching and reading his book, that was like, oh man, this is good, man. This is solid, man. You did a great thing. Got some room for improvement. We're going to go. His next campaign did a couple $1 million as well. They started to get a little, they got industry vets are now getting a little salty about it. It's like, who's this get? I'm over here happy that I'm making, crossing 6 figures with my project. This guy's also done made multiple millions of dollars in 1 year. They started. So then what is their approach to it now? They start bashing them. They start saying, man, your book's no good and all that kind of stuff, pointing out issues that they have now that they didn't have before.
In the craft of it? Or
in the craft of it. So it's like, they're saying like, oh man, we don't like the way that this was rendered or whatever like that, or this was like, this doesn't make any sense and all that kind of stuff. And then they start to attack, and you are always entitled to your own opinion. Yeah. But when people start saying, man, you like that book? Man, what's wrong with you? Started attacking you. that's when you start getting a problem, because it's no longer about the independent craft or whatever like that. It's about you are attacking the creators. And that has nothing to do with the craft or the book or anything like that. You don't want to see this person succeed. And that's what you kind of have to be weary of. A lot of times at creative spaces, because like I said, because this is the wild, wild west of creativity that we live in these days. You have Kickstarter and Indiegogo and all these different things that have allowed people to use crowdfunding to reach limits where they never would have been able to do before. But then you kind of go into these things and it's like, alrighty, cool. What's your motives with this thing? And it's like, you got to stay pure with it. Do you deal with any kind of, I would say, shortcomings or any hurdles within yourself when it looks like, okay, the future of Topeka Clementine and what you want it to be? What does that look like for you?
I think now more than ever, the future of Topeka Clementine looks a lot more reachable. I think before, when I was doing like the whole indie pop thing, I was like, because I was 23 then, I was like, I got a solid 3 years in this.
I got you.
I thought at the time, because like it's very simple, like 2 to 4 chord things. I feel like this most recent album is a statement of like 2 chord Topeka Clementine is gone. Like, you know, like I'm embracing harmonic complexity as a medium for explaining the complexity of growing up. You know, this is like me making a statement that I've grown up. I got you. And yeah, when I was 23, I thought I got 3 years in this. You're not gonna catch me dead, like in my crop top and my frog hat. Like at 26, like that's starting to get like a little crazy, you know? Okay. But now it's like I'm leaning into a more mature sound that I think has the potential to carry me well into my 30s, well into my 40s. And I keep exploring and finding new things that keep me excited. Yeah, and that's for sure. That's exciting. Yeah. To keep surprising myself. I think I'm lucky that I kind of got over a lot of those, and I think they're really just superficial hurdles. I mean, I guess all of our mental hurdles are superficial in a way. I got you. And like I said, go stand out on the pier. Yeah. You figure out how small they in life. Exactly. It's like, I was driving up to LA the other day and we were going through this back road and it was crazy because we're crossing over into all these like these grassy areas, these hills and all that kind of stuff. The hills and everything's so much bigger. And then you're at one point you're up high and you look down and there's all these buildings and all that kind of stuff. And it's funny to like in that, like to me, what's funny to me is that to those people that were down there, right? And each individual right there, their life is their world, basically, right? But it's like your world and my world are completely different. And a lot of times. And so it's just a weird thing to realize that like everything that we put heavy gravity and like our issues and everything like that into, a lot of times it's not that big of a deal, especially with the concept of just time just keeps moving on. And when you look back, when you were in high school, the things that were big issues to you in high school, and then like me now, I'm about to be 30. We're doing this, we're marking this, we're recording this ahead of time, but I'm turning 30 this weekend. And I'm married with 2 kids. I just had a newborn baby. Congratulations. Thank you. I look back at my life and I look back at what 18-year-old, what 17-year-old, what 13-year-old Antoine was fretting about in middle school and high school and all that kind of stuff. And I'm like, yo, I get it, man. I get what my parents were telling me. It's not that big of a deal. Just take time. Oh, the joy to like have just those worries again. Too. Yes. Like you have to like look at the naivety with like a certain amount of endearment. 100%. Like look at little me, like exactly didn't even know what was going on. Like, you worried about all these issues and all that kind of stuff. This person said this to you. This person bullied you, or this person didn't like said something about your shoes and all that kind of stuff. It's like, man, it's not about that. And the reason it's funny because the reason why I always share the story about Eric July is not to just talk about to big him up. It's about being the courage that it takes to explore these new ventures. And like, you can be successful. You can put in the work. And a lot of times you take a risk and you try something and now you never know
And that's the thing. That's a beautiful thing about life, though. Yeah. It's like, all right, cool. Now I'm gonna try this. The dude just turned, I think he's 32 years old now. Now the owner of a multi-million-dollar comic book company, employing industry vets that inspired his life. And it's like, that opportunity is absolutely insane. I started Icon Presents with the idea of highlighting creatives, and the people that I've had the opportunity to meet, yourself and so many others it's been an incredible opportunity. It is like, man, this is, I don't take it like for granted. I absolutely love it. And it all started because I was at home during COVID with one of the companies that I was working for. I was freshly graduated college. I hit up Shane and was like, hey, I would like to come in and do an internship with Icon, or at that time it was Cypher Studios. And so it's one of those things where you just kind of grow and you take that opportunity and everything. And it just becomes such a awesome point in life. So as we wrap up, do you have anything that you want to share with the people? You have your new album, and it's called
Topeka Clementine 2 TOO.
Gotcha. And that's going to be coming out. Well, it's coming out very shortly. Well, it'll already be out. By the time this episode airs, it'll already be out. Where can people get it and listen to it?
You can get it on Spotify, Apple Music, Deezer, Tidal, all the streaming platforms.
Okay.
Probably Amazon Music as well. You can get it directly off of my Bandcamp.
Okay. I forgot about
YouTube.
Bandcamp still being a thing.
Yeah, it's nice. Like I see the little emails like, you got 35 cents. I'm like, thank you.
That's yeah.
I'm sure Bandcamp takes like 5 of those. So I get like 30 cents.
Okay,
that's fine.
That's not a bad ratio.
Yeah. YouTube as well. Yeah, and I'm really trying to like delve into doing my own personal behind the scenes of the each song, and like a kind of like a Genius type like lyric analysis and things like that, and just really build an experience around this album. As much as like I'm already thinking I'm on to the next thing, I think it's a symptom of me not taking time to celebrate myself.
I got you.
And this might be like some shadow work that's necessary to like maybe just celebrate the album a little bit longer than normally.
I got you.
Before.
I mean, it's a good thing that you're like, all right, cool. I dropped this album and you already have ideas for the next thing.
Oh, I've already written 10 that are going to be for the next thing. Yeah, I haven't recorded them, but
that's the way the creative process works, man. It's like, hey, it's never going to stop. Like you put out one thing, you're on to the next. You just keep doing that. And strike while the iron is hot, especially while you have the opportunity now. You never know. The way this world is going right now, you never know what is going to be like.
Tour the world before it ends.
Right? Either an asteroid's going to hit us or something like that, man. It's crazy. Well, it's been an honor to have you on the show today.
It's been an honor to be here. I'm so happy to be here.
That's awesome, man. It's been your performance was amazing.
Thank you.
I absolutely loved it. I got to say, so you are, like I said, we tend to record in bulk, like so you're my third recording, and I've had a variety of different people on this show today, from a rock band to a rapper, and then to have you come in calmer. I would say that. It was a whole different thing, but it's so much fun, and I absolutely love it. And I absolutely love the opportunity to be able to give people like you and so many other people that, like I always say, putting out positivity out there and kind of want to share your craft with the world. It's a great thing to do. So again, where can people find you? Give them your Instagram.
Topeka.Clementine on Instagram. Topeka.Clementine on TikTok. Topeka Clementine, Topeka like Kansas, Clementine like the orange.
All right.
Spotify, Apple Music, YouTube, all the places.
Awesome.
Except for X or Twitter, whatever it's called now.
I got you. Alrighty. So with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for joining me on another episode of Icon Presents. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Share the podcast out there. Share Topeka Clementine's performance and everything. It's just going to be so much fun to watch you grow as an artist, to watch us all grow. And I absolutely love this. Be sure to check out Icon Presents website with the link in the description below, and keep updated on blogs and events and upcoming guests and articles and everything. And if you want to be on the show, Feel free to DM me, email me, and all of that. We thank you so much for joining me. Again, thank you. Take care.